Hate to put it like this as soon as I get to try this game, but another studio bites the dust. Don't Nod presents Jusant. Releasing these games on the PS5 games catalog is kind of becoming a death knell for these indie publishers. And like I said, rental just, it may not be the profit mode for any of these companies, but the consumer benefits. So this is one that I checked out probably, I mean when? We knew about it like 2 years ago. And in classic fashion, I didn't buy it. Waited to rent it. And now they're all dead. And it's no laughing matter, but this is basically funeral for a development studio. Between Banishers, between Lost in Bloom, you know. And they still have one coming. Aphelion, I'm sure they have an explanation for what that means. It's the dark side of the moon or the sun or whichever. But that's that, and this is this. Jusant, indie rock climbing adventure. Basically, after this game came out, then you get Peak, and you get Cairn. It's funny how all these devs take notes from one another at GDC, and they all get laid off. You know, I read that there's this mobile Gundam game, you know, Mobile Gundam Seed, XD, SD, whatever it is. It's free to play on mobile. Did $3 million in revenue in 2 months. And this whole studio got laid off for making artwork. So, what does that tell you about what the customer really wants? But what I want to do is play this emo indie game and stream it and comment on it. Try and keep the medium alive. So with that being said, let's get right into this first try, let's try, every try of Jusant. A French nautical term for receding tide. You mean like the number of jobs that are going to be available once Xbox closes down, or the amount of money that's being funneled, redirected into gotcha boxes? It's tough as an artist, I know. Trust me. Been creative my whole life. And look what it's done for me. Damn, that looks really cool. It looks like the shore to Gods Will Fall. So that's me. I like how he's got these ponchos on, right? I guess it's what, to protect against the sunburn? He's got a vacuum cleaner. And some paper mache sunglasses. Oh god. And a gemstone on his jacket. I think, okay, so I knew that this game was going to be endearing because it looks like a real work of art, right? But I was reluctant to buy it. But it's just because I'm stingy. So what could these indie developers do to reassure you, hey look, for $10, $20, $30, well it's not $10, I mean it was 30 bucks. It was $30 on launch, I think, maybe even 40. So what could these indie developers do to reassure you, hey, that the gameplay is going to be something that you're going to want to do? Like, nobody hesitated to buy Shadow of the Colossus when that came out. But now they're going to hesitate to buy this. What's another, like, story? Nobody hesitated to buy Witcher 3. Or even, like, Witcher 1. Witcher 1. Nobody hesitated. Was it because there were so many fewer games to choose from? I'm sure that's it. And it didn't really matter what it was. I mean, you had a AAA game once every 3 months. So it's like, oh, you think you don't like a Yakuza like a dragon? You're buying it. You know? It didn't matter what genre, an RPG, real-time strategy game. PC was the same way too. It was like, something big is coming out. There's nothing else to play. You have to play it. So indie, I guess indie filled that space with little concepts, and that matched the style of game that was on, like, oh, because I'll tell you what was competing with, like, in the 2000s, what was competing with big PC and console releases were retro consoles, because you could always go and buy, quote unquote, you could go and buy a Sega Genesis game or a Super Nintendo game or something to have something quick to play. And so the way that retro console games kind of match that instant action, or put the quarter in the machine arcade gameplay, that got overtaken by PC games and console games wanting to give these bigger, fuller, longer experiences. That would require more time than what you could put into a single playthrough, a single play session, I should say. So it's not like you can beat Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in 50 minutes. It's like, hey, I'm playing a strategy game, and it's like the match has taken more than 3 hours. I got to pause and come back later and do it. And so now, like, what's eating into the space of so indie never really ate into the space of AAA, because AAA was giving this bigger, fuller experience, and indie was giving much more avant-garde concepts. If the focus was on graphic art style, or if the focus was on a softer experience, like not a lot of combat, not a lot of action, but that's what indie is. And that casualness people really, really liked. But then AAA started matching that casualness, where it's like, is it going to be casual game, system game, less action? I don't know. And then you spin off into, you know, esports multiplayer. You spin off into loot box gacha, and it's kind of gross now. So then we come back to this. We come back to this beautiful avant-garde independent game that launched at $30-$40 and failed to meet sales expectations. But look at this. This is brilliant, and I'm already having fun. And it's because of how gorgeous the game looks, but also look at what I'm doing here. Look at the fact of what I'm doing here. I'm running down this epic ramp. I don't know who my character is. I don't know what that cutscene was about, but look where I am. Look where we are, right? Pretending to be on this grand adventure. This is God of War. This is Shadow of the Colossus. And it's presented in this new frame. Like, look at that. It's presented in this new frame of a game. Never heard of before, never seen before. So how could they sell that? How could they sell that? Like, you hear the creaking of the railings. Look at all those birds flapping in the wind down there. This is a beautiful work of art. And it wasn't sold to me. Now, I think if you said, okay, if you said, hey, we would love to give the game away for free, but how is that fair to us? It's even $30 is cheap, but it's $30. It needs to be. And every gamer's like, well, if you're going to release it at $30, I'll wait for it to be $20. And then what is that called? Market penetration? They drop the price down, and then they sit it next to the $20 product, and you go, oh, I only had $20, but the product I wanted to buy is now on a discount, and so I'm going to buy it, and it stimulates your consumer marketing niche, and then, well, class is over, and it's on to the next lecture. So in the meantime, I guess we'll keep playing this indie game, Jusant, by Don't Nod, who brought us Banishers and Life is Strange. Two wonderful games, as well as Bloom and Rage. A wonderful attempt at an horror game. I'm just talking shit. I beat that the other day. But Life is Strange is top, and Bloom and Rage is ass. To quote a famous Jax player, So now we're playing Jusant. It means something about the nautical tide. This game looks amazing. It feels amazing too. So let's check the buttons quick. L1, R1. R1, R2. What about triangle, circle, and square? What about my D-pad? What about my touchpad? What about my click sticks? Alright, so all we have is this pathetic jump. But it's not a jump, it's a vault, you know? He needs to get over things. If he wants to get up something, he has rappel. He has grappel. I'm stuck. I'm not stuck. Wow, this game looked good. I mean, holy God. And I'll tell you another thing, like I said about games, coming up with new ways to interact other than swinging a sword or shooting a gun. When you have an environment like this, because I was a level designer from way back. When you have an environment like this that's pleasant to occupy because of the soft colors and the ambient sound, you don't want to clutter it and hype it up with a bunch of R1 combat mechanics. It's just nice to be here. Let's just take a breath and be here, right? So now I'm going to press X and I'm going to climb. They've taught me that. And the chime indicates that I'm doing it correctly. L2, R2, grip. And then hold L2 to grip and release R2 to the right hand. Okay, now we've done mechanics like this before. And in what game do you remember? In... what was that game called? Astrobot. Astrobot. Can I release the left again? Yeah, a little bit, see? Hey, I like this. Alright, I like this. He doesn't want to. Hold this, hold it. Okay, cross-hand technique. Cross-hand technique, Rachmaninoff. Okay. Alright, and I'm climbing. Now, what about this post? The icons displays the rope's main carabiner, which means the rope is wound in. When empty, something else. Alright. My camera's underneath the, my camera's over top the instruction prompt. But, that'll lead to amusement later. Hold circle to wind the rope. Alright, there we go. It's not a vacuum, it's a rope climb. Now what happens if I fall? I'm tempted to walk off. In games like this, where we test the software, I'm tempted to walk off. Is there an invisible wall protecting me? Yes. Okay. But it felt a little exciting to toe the line a little bit, right? Okay. This looks so cool. Look at the scale. Look at the scale. Imagine a vertical rock climbing BR. We could. I still haven't played Splitgate, and let me tell you why. Both times I tried to launch that thing, it had download like 30 gigs. What is the point of that? I thought it was ready to go. There's another game that's been, fortunately, unfortunately, hit by studio downsizing. The carabiner automatically secures the something for the right path to take. Yeah, okay. I don't need that instruction. I've been a carabiner main since before most. Automatically secure, so you don't have to even worry about circle until you want to vacuum it up. Okay. Hey, oh, but even Shadow of the Colossus has a boss rush mode. Okay, so then maybe it is an action game, and I'm wrong. My entire thesis for this video is bunk. Graphics really are beautiful, and you can tell that this is hand touched up, like an oil painting, and not procedurally generated like an affront to man. Rachmaninoff is a piano player who had a 10-digit key span, which is why I mentioned his name. So now, just to try and culture you a little bit more. Now, where am I trying to go to now? His foot's there. His foot's there. But release them all. Now let me see this. We're trying to get somewhere here, right? We're trying to get somewhere here. Now, where do I want to climb? I guess he could just keep climbing up. He doesn't really need to climb sideways. But why this is important is that he's not limited to climbing. He's not limited to climbing on these little posts. Ooh, you can release both buttons. You can release both buttons and vault a little bit. I'm glad they gave me that circle prompt. When on the ground, circle. When on the ground, circle. And we want to keep looking. I'll tell you another thing. The responsiveness in the left analog stick is mwah. It's right where you want it to be, right? So then now I'm climbing. And now the little... Okay, here we go. I might need to know what this really says. Represents something. Yeah. You know, I don't need a tutorial. How many indie rock climbing games do you think I haven't played? You know? Check the channel. Check the channel. Tomb Raider. Press square to place a pylon. Alright. And then X to load a jump. So square is a pylon. It's not stamina. Wait a minute. Uh-oh. Oh, but I'm hanging there. Whoa, you can run! Hey, this game's cool. L1 up, R1 down. Oh, I'm reeling myself in. And then I can grab the pylon. And then I have to jump. So I jumped and held L2, R2 with both hands, but he grabbed nothing. Maybe I just didn't aim well enough. It's possible. The right-handed gauge represents your stamina. Keep it top to prevent blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, what do you think this is? And then I'll release both. Yeah, sometimes you gotta release. Sometimes you gotta release. Alright. And then what? The, Why would I need that pylon there? He doesn't want to release. We'll put another one then. Press and hold. That's just like, that's almost like a save state. Look, I'm gonna release it. It's almost like a save state. And so then if you can reach, and then you can grab the same thing with both hands. Hey, this is fun. I'm gaming. Because I'm thinking about the puzzle of the scenario and what I need to do. And it's occupying my brain. He doesn't want to move any further. I'm gonna let go. Nah. Not the right thing to do. No, you want to go up. Can I load a jump? Well, you can just reel it up. So if you can't go any further, you have to do a pylon? He kind of doesn't want to reach anymore. Let go, L2 to grab. He doesn't want to grab. Oh, maybe you can aim? Maybe I'm just not aiming well enough. Yeah, maybe. Okay. So I didn't really need to waste all this fucking pylon shit. Can I just hold? But I don't want to hold to place a pylon. What else do I want to climb? Why is my rope yellow and not blue? Is that the hint? Is that the hint to say you've gone too far? Release with the left. Release with the left. Gets you a left brain, right brain coordination going. Press and hold. And then hold the jump. Are they telling me to place those things there when I need to make a jump? Oh, so then if I fuck up the jump, at least I only fall here. When I need to jump, not when I need to reach for something. So I'm not going to run out of stamina, really, and I'm not going to run out of rope, really. It's just a matter of, if I need to jump, I may fall. Rest. Whoa, what? L3 to rest while I'm hanging there? Do I need a pylon out? L3 to rest? That's crazy. Why would you rest when there's... But it's like he rested. He rested right beneath a ridge. I like... What is that, a canoe? On the edge of a rock? Maybe it's like a boat. Like this big-ass anchor. Wow. So why do you think they make you place pylons before you jump? because then if you fall, you can be saved. Okay. It's not really to reach left or right. Unless, of course, you wanted to put them there and then swing left and right to run and jump towards maybe a faraway edge. It's possible. I like that there's just plastic crates in here. Yeah, climb that. Man, these animations are so nice. The feeling of grabbing onto this is really, really nice. Gonna go in there. Look how it just has that very clay-like look. You think this was made in Unity? I don't think so. Because usually Unity likes to kind of praise itself. Be like, this was made in Unity. I didn't notice that. So I didn't notice that. He's kind of grabbing onto anything. So I don't really get the rest mechanic. Like, why rest? What's that? Triangle. Another sleep turning over stones to the old delta. 2 belay stations for parts, a good catch. Should be enough to reopen the route to Old Cape. Otherwise, it's all smooth sailing. A couple of old lanterns I can revive. Folks used to throw this stuff away. I caught an old knitting machine for Ennio, who's been asking for one. Not in great shape, but we should be able to tinker with it. Still not sure how I'm going to be able to haul it up to low tide, though. Stop doing business with Rem. All he does is dismantle my discoveries and sell the parts in the heights. He claims to be a repairman, but he's a foam salesman. They don't like foam around here. That reminds me, what is all this blue stuff? Probably like painting. I haven't seen any source of food yet. There's boats. You saw the anchors. There's a lot of boats. I think that was a spot out here. Okay. Oh. Hold to place your main carabiner on the wall. The rope can be attached to most surfaces by holding X. Okay. And so what do I do? Run a jump? And then, so yeah, go down. I was on the, I'm getting stuck on that. So now they're teaching me, you can place the carabiner on the wall. Okay, well I guess I'm over. I guess I'm over there. You can place the carabiner on the wall, like I said, and use it as a method of swinging. You know. I was running. Oh, man. And what's down there? We're not going to find out? I think that's where I was. I just don't want to fall. Put a little trap chute down there. Make me have to backtrack? That wouldn't be cool. I want to go down there. I bet this is a game where you can kind of go your own route. I mean, that pillar looks like you can hold it. This is my ocarina. It looks amazing. They got a lot of carpenters. Hey, that looks like almost a glove. I guess that would make sense. And I was like, oh, it looks like he made a glove. It's like, no, I think he wears the glove when he makes the carpentry, so it doesn't nail his hand. Oh, he carves designs into the walls. I hope he doesn't dig through the whole foundation and bring this mountain to a collapse. That's pretty cool. It crumbles into dust. See how fast we can climb. Alright, we can go pretty fast. Go pretty fast. How are things at the sawmill? Business has been slow in the restaurant. No one came to the last night's music, even though people are climbing down all over. I know we don't play the shells anymore, but still. I was thinking that adding scaffolding to the side of the upside down cliff might help steer passerbys this way. I'm missing a packed patio. Can you take care of it? Check with low tide and everyone agrees. Hey Mo, listen, these things happen. I hope one day you'll ask me to do something besides take the boats apart to make ladders. Like if I'm free for a romantic dinner for two. Anyway, all good for the scaffolding since the village approves. I don't have much wood to choose from after the new path to the plane I had to build. I still have a wreck or two left over. I'll get to it when the currents allow. I owe you one. You're the best. Do you ever run into old Sonia? I think she's rummaging around your area right now. If you see her around, do you mind telling her I need a new hob for my oven? Mine's taking on water. In the meantime, set sail for the restaurant. I'm not sure how romantic it will be, but we can always share a half-cooked meal. So I guess these people, what? You think that they were more of a seafaring people, and then maybe the Jusant came, whatever that means, the receding tide. The Jusant receded, and then I almost got stuck in that again. The Jusant receded, and then now they had to become a mountain climbing society because they're breaking apart their boats to make ladders to climb up. So maybe the tide rose and fell, and they had all these aquatic cities, but now they're different. So where am I going to run to? Oh, where? Oh, don't I want to go up? There we go. Sometimes you just gotta jump. So what were the other so we learned the pylons, the pistons, swinging, but then resting. I don't really understand how resting is going to affect. I mean, it's going to renew his stamina, but who says how badly my stamina boils over? Oh, I probably could have climbed up there. I don't want to climb back down. We're just going to keep making progress upward. Hold to place one. I don't need to place one. Look at that. I don't need to place one. It's going to be a no pylon run. So you want to get on a platform so you can kind of reel in this thing. Oh, people speed run it? I bet. One thing I thought was I want to switch that circle prompt to press and tap instead of press and hold. That's like the first thing that I would click. So then wait, should I go over there? Oh fuck, what do you think I should do first? Once I climb up here, I think that's it. What about that spot? You can hit it up in your run, I want to go. Well, I'm going upside down. Do you ever see that in real life? They're climbing upside down on these rocks. Hold to place a pylon. Why? Because I'm going to jump. And then perform a what? A double jump. Look. Hold, and it says perform a double jump. What? Perform a double jump? It's cheating. I want to see this game speed ran. But not for charity. For poverty. What is that? I get that it's highlighting it, but Oh, square? That's not what I meant to do. A swing. Oh, and then grab on, obviously. L2, R2, you didn't tell me about that. You didn't tell me about that piece of instruction. Okay, Jusant. Name's not offensive at all. Smash L2. And get a little bit more tactical. Alright. You gonna teach me about double jumping? That's funny. A double jump against a rock wall. You think that really works? I wouldn't try it. I'm not an adrenaline junkie. This is about as close to a thrill ride as I'm gonna do in my life. Roller coasters. I mean, place a second pillar to anchor myself. What am I, a wimp? What am I, a wimp? You don't need any of these pylons. There's a no pylon run. Place a second pylon in case you need a save state in the middle of this climb. Oh, what about that, though? I don't want to place a second pylon. What is this resting? Look at that. Could have gone over there. Let me see if I can get back up that way. Whoa. Alright. It's far down. Do you think this whole level is just like one big cavern that intertwines? I bet it is. I bet that it is. I can climb up that way, but I want to go around this way. Can I? I don't know if I can climb on that. Oh, that's a ledge, though. What do you think? You could place something, right? You could place it anywhere. You could place it anywhere. Place it anywhere. Nah, I don't know. I don't know. My thought was put it somewhere here and run across. But I guess I'm doing it the difficult way. I'm doing it the difficult way. Just go across this way. Let's check it out from here. You think he needs a flashlight? I mean, you wouldn't mind seeing in here, right? Whoa, lizards. Give me those guys! Lizards. Place the cairn on the headland. Those are supposed to represent, I don't know that it's necessarily someone who died, but it's supposed to represent, like a memorial. Lynn's gone to the heights to ask to extend the site. With the boss gone, the wind's gone out of our sails when it comes to digging. It's not such a bad thing. Lifting boxes, crates, and barrels is my area of expertise. But shifting their old stones, at the slightest pitch and roll, everyone's knees start quaking. I'm just getting used to the idea of working with archaeologists. Make myself useful again, and already the work's dried up. I doubt it'll start again. I can't see how it can move forward. How about you? How are things in low tide? You think low tide is a place? Is Dee Dee still refusing to go to school? So happy to hear from you. We miss you. I'm homeschooling her, and I'm very much out of my depth. Do you remember the names of all the regions of the tower? I don't remember learning that. I gave Dee a homework assignment about the old altar to keep her busy. She's supposed to copy the design. I ended up going with her. It's been ages since I'd last ventured behind the village. I'd forgotten how dark it is, but you know Dee. She's gutsy, and she enjoys diving into the past just like you. Speaking of which, have your archaeologists finally found out how tides work? They've been digging for a while now. Do you know when you'll be able to come back up here? So what about that ledge? I kind of wanted to go out on that ledge. It's interesting that this game lets you kind of find different paths. Look at these lizards. I think this game is a beautiful mix of like The Last Guardian and yeah, like as silly as it sounds, God of War, because that feeling of trekking across this really vast and exciting environment. That's the sense of adventure. This game's fucking awesome. Just ran off that ledge. Right. The camera's angle's making me run into the guardrail. Alright. The dinosaur head. Can I jump down? Or climb down? What if I... Aha. And then what if I go down here? And then what if I release? Can I release? There we go. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the little city in Stray a little bit. It's funny that it just played Fez. This is like 3D Fez. I like it a lot. I think it's amazing. I think it does so many things right. This would be a nice game to just kick back and relax with. Watch what I'm gonna do right about here. I can't jump off that ledge. I'm almost getting stuck in these little blue slimes a lot. I'm tempted to try and jump there and grab onto that anchor and climb back up, but it's not really necessary when I have a ladder right there. Hi Bianca, you must have cast off for who knows when. I went back to the postal relay, no water. Solly and Faz are still sorting through everything by hand, and I've got roped into helping with deliveries. Why not? It's a fresh start. I quite like seeing the world as the mail comes in. It'd be nicer if this damn pebble would change course when I ask it to. Maybe he's on an old boat. What a nightmare. I'm going to miss the tide at this rate. Left your mail by the door. So maybe, like I'm saying, they were these water-faring people, and they kind of relied on the rising and falling of tide, and it's gone now. And they're just climbing up these rocks. How are things going down there, Bianca? I hear your boss sailed off into the horizon. Good riddance, I never liked him, but things here are quiet. Not many people stop by these days. A seasonal job with no more season. Starting to get bored. You can tell because I started scratching letters. It's something to distract me. I'm glad to hear from you. I'm as useful as a buoy on dry land. You've been gone for a while, but everything here is closed. Except for Ennio's shop. He's still raising his chocos. Boss had tried to convince him to leave with them. Remember Boss, the little terror in the back of the classroom? They got caught in quite a gale. It was amazing. No one's dared try again since. I think a gale is a windstorm. But if there's no water, so what, they got blown off the mountain? Do you think they're going to keep you on if people stop coming by? You might be seeing more folks soon, though. I came across a classified ad. They're mounting an expedition to explore the crow's nest. I like that, but going off on an adventure with strangers sounds ugh. I heard about that. What did they say? Do you think they're going to keep you on if people stop coming by? You might be seeing some folks soon. They're mounting an expedition to explore the crow's nest. I heard about that heading for the clouds. That sounds like quite something. I'll better stock the hold. I bet they'll come this way. You know what? You should join them. Come see me too. Don't have any excuses since you're out of a job. It would be a nice change from the few stray travelers that come by. The other day, another climber got stuck at Weeping Rock Pass. I had to go fetch them. If only could have seen them. Stupid enough to eat hay, as they say around here. So it's becoming like maybe now this tourist trap for rock climbing, and they kind of shifted their business model to be like Sherpas for folks. I think this game is really cool. I wonder what it could have been done to encourage people to buy more of it. I never really saw gameplay footage. Like, I never even knew that I would be running around in third person. I thought I was just, it's an emo story and I'm climbing on a rock. But this is super minimal storytelling. And it's like, you know, epic. You know, David Jaffe meets Guido, whatever that guy's name is. What were they telling me the big circle prompt? Oh, up there. I see it. You can hit square. I'm falling. I'm falling. I'm falling. Damn, I climbed. I grabbed. I fell through. I mean, that happens. But it's making me wonder, and this is, with all the Xbox layouts, this is also a topic of conversation. It doesn't really matter whether something is indie or AAA. Let's ignore that fact, right? Let's ignore that fact because it's about, let's say the only difference between indie and AAA. Let's say there's no gameplay difference. It's just about budget and size of customer base. It still begs this question of whether they think releasing the game on a free rental is going to do a disservice to the sales numbers, because they think, okay, why should we only be paid to publish it via a digital rental service for 1 or 2 months if that immediately cuts sales and limits customers? That's why it's one of the last things that they do. You notice the trajectory of, like, you know, pre-order, full release, content update or bug fix, quality of life patch. Then maybe a discount feeding into DLC release, and then digital rental on a subscription service. It's like it's the last nail in the coffin of the sales roadmap for a product. I'm finally leaving. I'm happy I couldn't sleep a wink. At the old harbor master's office, a note caught my eye. It sounded like poetry. Expedition to the clouds, seeking hope and water. Join us at 12 octaves. After spending so long marinating and trying to find meaning in life, it'll do me good to see the world, as M would say. Hopefully, we'll be stopping by her cut. I just thought I'd see her again is enough to tell. Just the thought of seeing her again is enough to tell me I'm making the right decision. With any luck, there will be other adventurers leaving from low tide. I don't want to make my way to the meeting point with the rest of the expedition all by myself. The only time I ever left here was for the harvest festivals, when I was just a small fry, so an expedition like this is no small matter. My parents, I forgot about them. What am I going to tell them? I'm off on adventure. See you around if I make it back alive. Of course, dear, don't forget to bring snacks. I'd better not say anything. And I should bring snacks. What else? What do people normally take on this type of trip? One thing's for sure. What's a journey without a logbook? I've got it covered. I plan to make like the expeditions that set off for the salt plain in search of springs. I'm going to scatter my journal entries along the way for who might come after us, starting with this message. Farewell, my lighthouse. You welcome me with wonder and have kept me company as I've pondered too much. You've always been there for me. I'm leaving you to the weavebeaks, who will watch over you from the sky. And to watch over this message, I'm leaving one of my creations. Adventure calls Bianca. So I wonder who I am falling after all these people. But maybe there's no people anymore. Maybe I'm just reading their messages, right? It's been saved. It's been saved for living history. Kind of like this game, you know. We'll never know who the devs were, but it'll exist on a cloud server for eons. But that's what art's supposed to do. Like, when you make a game like this, and it's a legit work of art, That's what you're supposed to do. Can I climb up? Well, okay. See? No pylon run. No pylon run. Okay, I placed the pylon. No, we didn't. Oh, on the board? He's kind of stuck in a way. He's kind of stuck in a way. He's not grabbing onto anything. He doesn't want to jump. He doesn't know where he is. He fucked up a little bit. He fucked up a little bit. Boy, when they tell you to place that pylon, you better do it. Oh, and it says release yourself to let yourself drop. Gotcha. Alright. Alright. Don't jump off the ledge though. You don't want to double jump? He doesn't want to double jump or grab. What about square? Okay. No? Okay. It's getting a little trickier. It's getting a little trickier. It's getting a little tricky. He doesn't want to grab anything. What about up there? He just wants to go here. No climbing. And then reel me up. Don't you think that's cheating? Can I grab that? There we go. Double wall jump? Okay. Double wall jump. Where do you think you could climb in? No pylon necessary. And then just climb up. No resting, no pylon necessary. I'm in his shop here. I asked Mo for help, but it's no use. The door won't budge. There's no way of knowing how its inner mechanisms work. Does it have anything to do with the lost ocean? Mo isn't much of a handyman either, but you'd think we'd have been able to figure it out between the two of us. He had to weigh the anchor a date, he said. It's true he did seem rather dressed up to tinker, rather perfumed too. None of this answers my questions. I've explored you from deck to hold, and I'm no further along than when I started. I don't know what you could have been used for my lighthouse. Your paintings seem to allude to water falling from the sky. But that's pretty vague. Now what am I supposed to do? So that's the guy, the climber, who was like scattering his notes around. So there's like video log messages between people who were the citizens here, I guess, and then there's that other adventurer who was kind of like climbing around. Do that. He's stuck. He's got to jump up. This rotates? Yeah. Careful what you stick in there, man. He's gonna blow it. I had a jelly friend my whole time. Come back for more, eh? Look at the guy. And it bloomed with grass. What, chapter 2 migration? I'll tell you what. I think that this game is phenomenal. I think that this is exactly what an indie game needs to do. It kind of needs to bring its vision for the experience to life through gameplay. So the way that you feel like you're alone on this mountain structure, and the way and how good it is to walk around and to scaffold and climb with the controller, they really nailed interacting with the game, which lets you kind of suspend your disbelief and have the experience of being this character. The epic scale of this mountain, climbing, reading about the people, it's kind of leagues above a lot of these other platformers, like I said, Stray and Last Guardian, that's trying to give that feeling but kind of missed it on a gameplay level. This game sells it on a gameplay level. So then the question becomes, when you have a real work of art indie title like this, how do you sell typical gamers on the fact that there's enough fun interactivity here to kind of, take a break from the Marvel rivals of the world and give a game like this a chance, especially when it's not expensive. It's not like they're requesting $60 in 40 hours. Like, give them 10, 20, 30 bucks, right? Like, I guess they hit enough sales with the price tag to then justify releasing it on this digital rental. But we're seeing this time and again. I mean, we really saw it with Bloom and Rage on day one. Bloom and Rage kind of is a different situation because Bloom and Rage half released. And a lot of people spoke about it for about 2 weeks, which is a lot for a short 5-hour indie story. And then 2 months go by, and the second half of this story comes out, and people are like, well, if I didn't play the first one, why would I play the second one? I'm going to wait for the second one. I'll skip the first one. I beat the first one. I don't need the second one. It kind of jostled people's reception to that, and that's this company, Don't Nod. And they've got another game coming out. I've seen more footage for their next game, Aphelion. I've seen more gameplay footage for that than I ever saw for this. Now, was that me being like, oh, Jusant, I saw a reveal trailer, and between the vibe and the art and, what's a Jusant, Who knows, right? And it's like, oh, I'm sold, and I don't need to see anymore. Maybe that was me. But then what did I do as a consumer? I said, well, I'll wait until they release it on a digital rental service, because I don't like every game that I play, but I want to try the majority of them. And I don't beat every game that I like because I'm spending time trying the majority of them. So it doesn't really become worth my while to purchase games. And then you say, well, damn, that blows up our business model as developers. We're trying to make something that people, what? You're trying to make something people want to experience? I want to experience it too, but I don't want to own it. So when they say we're trying to make something people want to experience and we need them to buy it from me, it's like, I mean, I don't want to buy a novel. I don't want to buy an album. I don't want to buy a movie. I really don't want to buy video games either. It's a digital license anyway. I just want to rent them. Renting video games digitally is perfect for me. So then now what do you say? That makes a game like this less marketable, because even if we make it at a small scale, but high production value, but small scale, so a shorter game with better graphics and animations and functionality, the budget's going to be so much. We know through great design and great word of mouth, we're going to make a successful video game that people are going to want to keep playing. We think there's a niche audience for this niche concept, and we know we can sell it to them. How do you deliver it to them? What was the other game? Like those Heavy Rain, Quantic Dream, or House of Ashes and Supermassive, right? Those kind of story games. I mean, shit, even Uncharted and Spider-Man from Sony. Those kind of games where it's like, it's a linear story. I want to play to complete the story. Please don't make me buy it. Please don't make me spend $10, more than $10 to buy it. Because I'm thinking, once I beat the story for Spider-Man, Miles Morales, I'm done. Same with Uncharted. I don't need to play it again and get all the little collectibles. I'm good. But when I can achieve Uncharted 4 in a couple weekends of renting it and playing it, or Tomb Raider or whatever, it's like that blows up their model of, hey, we need you to buy it for $60. Well, if a year from now it's $5, why am I going to pay $60? I can wait, and it's like, oh, that blows up their business model. Same thing with all these indie titles. When I see a game release, and I see a game even go on sale, like Crab Treasure, and it's like, released at $30. I bet that's fair price, but I don't know how badly I'm going to like it. Then it goes on sale for $24, and then $17, and it's like, I don't know, it's been a while. I bet they'll put it on the games catalog, and then they do. This is just how I want to consume video games. Like I said, because I don't spend 1,000 hours in them. I just rent them and try them. But there are going to be games that don't fit that business model. The games that fit the subscription business model are games that keep people paying to subscribe month after month. And they're not people like me who drop $100 to buy a year. Because I know I'm going to play most of the stuff on this. Other people say, I've played all those games, or I don't want those games. I want Game Pass because I want to rent new games, which isn't feasible. Then there's people like me who are like, all those games that you're going to put on sale for $5 to $20, just let me rent them. But the people who wind up subscribing to PS Plus are playing Spider-Man and web zipping around the open world for 5 months. Same thing with Ghost of Tsushima. And it's like, well, why would you play Ghost of Tsushima for 5 months on PS Plus? It's on sale for $30. Why don't you buy it? And it's like, I don't know, it's just consumer psychology shifting now. Well, why are you buying V-Bucks? What are you buying with the V-Buck? Fortnite is free. You don't have to buy anything. But it's just this concept of, I want to feel good. I want to take action. Maybe if I spend some money and buy something. But see, they're not thinking about spending money. They have the money. The money doesn't make them happy. They want to buy something to make themselves happy. I want to take action. How do I feel better? What if I need to, why don't I eat something even though I'm not hungry? Why don't I drink something even though it's gonna, it's a bad idea? Why don't I buy some V-Bucks? Maybe that'll make me happy, right? And so, it's going to be a tough spot for what we call indie games, by which we really mean artistic games. Games that give unique, novel experiences that are worth more than pressing R1 to swing a sword or shoot a gun. Somehow, all these Wu Chang action games, which is a real title, it's not offensive, and all these first-person shooter games, somehow they all, make a profit. I don't know how. I'm not buying Ready or Not or Get the Fuck Out or Body Cam. I'm not buying those games. But a game like this can't get anybody to buy it. And a person like me who wants to play a game like this, who was like, just let me rent it, that's my purchase habit now. I buy a subscription and I rent everything and I play them. And like I said, whether I like it, if I don't like it, I play for 3 hours. If I do like it, I play for twice as long, 6 hours. And I'm only beating story games for the story, for the plot. And I'll buy an indie game, but I mean, what is it? $6, $8? That's not $30, $40 on release. Because where players spend money is the time they're going to get back. They're going to spend money to get back time. If I pay $60, how many hours of time do you want out of that? Right? Even $15. And so when I see some of these indie games go on sale and it's like, oh, Sig Now is for $12 and I'm still so stingy, that could be a 12-hour game. But it doesn't really matter whether it's a game I love or not, a game I think is great or not. I know I'm not going to spend a lot of time with it. So an indie game that's 3 hours, yeah, no kidding, I'm going to spend money because I'm going to beat it in one play session on stream and then say the cup wasn't that good. But a game that they're trying to sell me is like, hey, this is a 12 to 25 hour game. It's a 12 to 25 hour game. How do I know I want to commit that time? I definitely don't want to commit that money because I'm not a shopaholic. I don't buy things to make myself feel good. I experience art to make myself feel good. But these artists are starving here. And this is one game where the developer actually did a good fucking job. And is it shame on me for not buying it sooner? Not paying more? I could buy 2 copies now. They're already laid off. What are we going to fucking do? I think that, unfortunately, consumers like me, who are consumers of real works of art, are going to need to learn that I can't purchase or experience this through a subscription service. A game like this is not going to fit well on a subscription service. Even though any game that gets released on PS Plus is going to snap into 1 to 2 million users instantly. Because they keep reporting that. The developers say, we put it on PS Plus and the essential free monthly game, and we got 500,000, 1 million, 1.5 million new players. And Sony pays the company to publish them for free. Sony may even overpay because they want to attract people to subscribe for that month to get it permanently into their catalog. But what I'm saying is there are a lot of games that I would love to play, and if I wait for them to show up on a games catalog, the creators are not going to be financially rewarded. And so consumers are going to learn, hey, that game that you want to play is never going to fit into that subscription model. It's never going to release there. If you really want to support us, it would help if you pay us. And it's like, once I play a game and I know that it's good, and I know that I'm rewarded for the time I spent with it, I kind of don't care what it costs anymore. And that's why I think demos and trials and betas have been coming back in popularity, because it's really helping sell people on a lot of stuff. But subscription services are almost becoming free-to-play models for single-player games. Like I said, the most popular games on the PlayStation catalog are Spider-Man and Ghost of Tsushima, open-world single-player games where people can get immersed and spend a long time. And it's like, you don't know you want to drop the $40 on Ghost of Tsushima? Like, it seems like that's an easy purchase if you know that's the kind of game you want to play. but people are just thinking like, I don't know. And it's the same thing with entertainment. It's the same thing with I was thinking about like just the fact that I know. What was I thinking about? I was thinking about like how I knew about actors on Saturday Night Live, and like that was just they were recognized for like, oh yeah, you could be an you could be like an improv comedy actor, or other things like sitcoms, like, oh yeah, 8:30 on Thursday, it's a sitcom. But people aren't really looking for scripted, written entertainment or stories as much as they're like, okay, well, I'm watching video game streams. I'm listening to podcasts. People are on social media or watching Twitch, like IRL live streaming. Just what they're consuming for content. It's such a different medium, and it's such a different product, and it's a different consumer. It's a different viewer or user. They're using it for something. The thing about anything you do on a computer, you're not a passive audience member. You're an active participant. If you're now chatting in a live stream, or if you're playing this podcast while you're at the gym or something, or like you're using it for something because you're interacting with this software. Even video games, you could never just. I was thinking about how why are certain stories which are pretty good housed in video games which are really not that playable? And Bloom and Rage is a perfect example. Bloom and Rage should have been a miniseries. It probably should have been a live action miniseries. It probably would have been more compelling. And you see that with Sony making Last of Us into a TV show, or Fallout. It's like, hey, this is an interesting world and an interesting plot with characters and action. I don't play video games. And they turn it into a TV show. And so, like, there's no stopping Bloom and Rage from becoming. Like, why wasn't that pitched as a TV show? Why did it need to be a game? Was it the people in the development studio were like, we want to make another game? But I'm going to take this moment to kind of shit on Bloom and Rage, because as much as I love art, I mean, I played the whole game. Here's going to be, hey guys, if you're just tuning in, I'm about to review Bloom and Rage, which I didn't like as much as Life is Strange. Even in terms of the story, I didn't really connect with the characters as much. These kind of whiny teenage girls. I should not be connecting with whiny teenage girls. I don't have anything to do with teenage girls. I'm saying this is being broadcast live. I'm saying this on the record. Never have I ever fraternized with teenage girls. The next thing that I'll say is, spoiler alert. I guess I can't really break down the plot. So when I streamed that game, I streamed for about 3 hours. It took 2 hours basically to get out of a tutorial in that game before anything happened in that game, right? Before anything happened in that game. And then once we find out, who's that girl, Swan? Clay? She's moving? I shut the stream off because I just couldn't take it anymore. So then I play it off stream. It takes about another 2 hours for anything climactic to happen. And then part 1 ends. It took 5 hours for something interesting to happen, which I won't spoil. But then 2 months go by, and part 2 Rage comes out. And I'm like, oh, I gotta play that. Oh, I gotta play that. Oh, I gotta play that. But 2 more months goes by. And I just beat it when? Yesterday, last weekend, I don't remember. And I beat the whole game. Nothing really happens with any of those characters that makes me like them. They just weren't interesting to me the way that, who is it, Max and Chloe? The reason why I cared about Max and Chloe, not just because let's say their personalities were written in, like, well, even that guy kid who likes Max, the characters were likable and relatable, and I mentioned that a lot even in the Supermassive games like Until Dawn. I liked all those characters. So if it's a story game where you're spending time with this cast, that's pretty critical. The next thing is, there are conflicts in those characters' lives that makes you empathize with them. In Bloom and Rage, we never learn about Nora's parents. We never learn about Kat's parents, and it seems like there's a lot of conflict there. Swan's parents are not interesting, so it's like all these characters, there's stuff going on with their parents. We never learn about that. Well, okay, that could have given some depth and generated some empathy for those characters. So it's just the characters in the plot it wasn't a good motivation for me to keep playing. As far as the graphic, the visual artwork, and the music, maybe that's why I played, right? Let's just experience the lights and the sounds. So then you get into the gameplay. What's the gameplay? I'm locked in my room. I need to look for an object. Oh boy. What's some other gameplay? I need to press R1 and wait for a minute. Oh boy. Then I kept in Bloom and Rage, I kept wanting to be with the girls as teens because this is where the story unfolds. We're walking to the lake, we're walking to the cabin, we're in our garage playing music. Stuff only happens during the times in that game when you're playing as them as kids. It keeps jumping to those sequences where they're in this bar and they're just sitting and they're old and they keep going, they keep sighing and exhaling to emphasize how stressed out they are about talking about this thing that never happened. The thing that happened happens in part 2. So for the entire first game, when they're sitting in this bar saying, I can't believe we came back here. We said we'd never come back here. After what happened, I can't even mention what happened that we're not supposed to talk about yet, that we said we'd never talk about again. And they're trying to like break the fourth wall to tell the story to me, the player, and say that this horrible tragedy happened. I don't know what that tragedy is because they never reveal it until part 2. And boy, let me tell you, if I could talk about the plot to that game. 2 thumbs down, dude! Vandalism, arson, and murder? But you're the victim. Look. So I didn't like Bloom and Rage. But to wrap it up in a tiny bow, this is my whole point, right? Just like with AAA, games that are cookie cutter and boring, Need for Speed Unbounded is a great example. You know, some Assassin's Creed game. There are indie games that are just not very good. They're not very playable. That game, Lake, who the hell wants to drive a mail truck? I've done that in real life. At least I got paid. But they're great works of art. So then you get a game like this, Jusant, which means the receding of the tide in Francais. And it's a great game. Mario meets Shadow of the Colossus meets classic God of War. And you can sell that, but not for $30. You have to sell it for $17.99 a month on a digital rental and make Sony pay you. But I mean, independent development, like a guy with a laptop, that's going to always exist. Independent studios, hey, that's going to exist so long as you can find financing and you can prove that you're going to have customers. And it's like these games can't prove that. What's the other game I'm about to buy for like $11? Dead by Daylight, but it's not. Casting of Frank Stone. They were like, somehow that missed the supermassive audience, and it missed the Dead by Daylight audience. Well, no kidding. Dead by Daylight is some 4v1 multiplayer game. And that's the only one of those that hit. The Evil Dead one failed. The Texas Chainsaw one failed. Evolve failed. Evolve was the first one. That failed. That didn't evolve. That went extinct. So Casting of Frank Stone comes out. First of all, it comes out in September. You're releasing a horror game. The next thing is they never marketed it. But then the same thing happened with Unknown 9. And then the same thing happened with another game I can't put my finger on because I forgot about it because they didn't bother. When they realize, hey, I don't think the game is very good. mechanically, and we don't think that the game is very appealing, but we've already gone too far in the development process, we have to pay to finish it just to release it, to try and recoup any sales revenue we can. But we are not wasting time advertising a game that we think players won't want, because it's gonna waste money. Like, advertising won't fix a lack of product market fit. If people don't want it, you cannot tell them. You can't keep telling them about it again and again. Like, I get that you got to tell them 7 times. No, 17 times. Well, by 18 times, if I haven't bought it, I'm not your customer. So you can't spend money showing it to the same people who are not interested. Let's say there's 2.5 billion gamers, and you believe 3.5 million are customers, should be customers for you. You got to tell them. And once you've told all of them and you secure 1.7 million sales, it's like, all right, you know, it's like we've become profitable. The moment this starts to pull back, we're shutting it off, because we can't afford to have that depreciate. We can't afford to lose any of that. We have to keep pushing until we make our money back, and a little bit further, to pay ourselves for the time we're going to spend looking for a new job. You know, half these jobs were temporary anyway. I don't know why you guys are complaining. I know why some of you are complaining, you know. I'm complaining about this when a great game fails. This should have succeeded. There are plenty of games that deserve to fail. They're not good games. I would review them poorly. But then there are games that should have done very well. But it's like Casting of Frank Stone, like I was talking about. It somehow misses the horror audience, the story horror audience. Is it because there were just so many other entries? It was very bright and character driven, and it's a weird format compared to all the gross lo-fi horror shit that's on Steam sale every fucking week. So it's like there's too many first-person walking horror games. There's not a lot of beautifully scripted, well-produced story games that happen to be horror. So that game comes out in September. They don't tell anybody about it. I don't really see people playing it. I don't really hear many reviews of it or many responses. If it was like, when Alone in the Dark came out, everybody said, hey, we were kind of interested in a third-person remake or re-envisioning of Alone in the Dark, but this game has a lot of bugs. And the story and the dialogue is really not that great. The shooting's okay, but, I can't pick up ammunition, and the enemies are pushing me out of the wall. That game failed because it was $60 and buggy. And you could soft lock yourself out of the front gate because the key had a hidden ammo counter that the developers didn't know about. So that's why that game failed. But Casting of Frank Stone, Supermassive went right into, hey, we're marketing the next Dark Pictures game. And I was like, why are they doing that? And then it happened to Unknown 9, and it happened to some other game, and I was like, oh, they don't want to spend money to advertise this because they think it's going to be a flop anyway. I'd rather be a cheap flop than an expensive flop. And you don't want to remind people of what a bad job you did. So it's easy to point out with hindsight why something failed financially, if I would even say, hey, review-wise, that's not a good game. It's not fun, not well designed. I can tell you what's wrong and how to fix it, but it's too late now. But then you get opportunities like this where it's like, you showed it off. It seems really cool. It's an interesting concept it's like, concept for what? Concept for the story, the aesthetics, the experience, or concept for the gameplay? This is a fucking bitchin' rock climbing game that keeps pausing on me. I want to spend more time. I'm gonna have the longest playthrough, okay? This is a bitchin' concept where you climb rocks with the shoulder buttons, and it's fun. Now, how'd they pull that off? Well, I don't know, because they never told anybody about it. It's like, this game has minimal story and a lot of interactivity, and it's casual, and it's beautiful. Why are you trying to show me a cutscene? Why are you trying to show me, like, this game has gameplay. Why don't you show me gameplay? You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of that game Taichia. That developer was doing a whole media tour. Constantly. Constant media tour, right? And his game sold. His game was extremely well reviewed. Shuhei Yoshida, on a YouTube video, talking about how you could play a ukulele and change the time of day. You've got rafting, you've got crafting, you've got spittles, you've got slings. You can become a crab. You become a rock. Taichia had it all. And that game sold. Sold on PlayStation, Day One Games catalog. It was like 1.5 to 2.5 million. Gets on Nintendo Switch. This game could be on Switch. This is a relaxing Switch game. It could be on mobile. It just can't be on a subscription service because people are going to wait and not pay for it. And all these indie games, it's like the audience for an indie game. I want a unique novel experience and I want it well designed. And I would rather play it in video game form. I don't want to watch a movie. And I don't want to watch a TV series. I do want to play a game. And a 3 to 8 hour game, 1 session, 2 sessions, cha-cha-cha, it's really perfect for giving much more immersive experience, especially when it's art. I never watched a movie with headphones. But, I mean, Bloom and Rage, at least, I'm banging my head to the fucking rock guitar music, right? I would never watch Bloom and Rage if it were a TV show. Girls or whatever else those shows are, I don't watch that shit. But I'll play Life is Strange. Chapter 4, The Pool Party? Come on, man. That's like the way that you have classic literature and classic film. That is a classic video game chapter. So how do you tell fans of independent video game artwork? You guys got to show up and buy. You need to prove to us that the gameplay is going to be fun. Because Bloom and Rage is something I would regret paying for. Life is Strange is not something I'd regret paying for. Right? Jusant is not something I'd regret paying for. So I think these developers, there's one lesson indie developers can take away from this before they go on LinkedIn to post their resume. And recruit people to start their next studio. Here's what you need to do. You need to sell the gameplay to get some of the mainstream people in to be like, oh, you know something? Normally I just play football and Call of Duty, but there was this weird rock climbing game. What was it called? Yeah, I think I'm going to check that out. I mean, if no one's willing to pay more than $10 for this, $15, $16, it's like if the price point is $20 and nobody pays $30, how can you release it for $20? You can't release it for $30 and wait with 0 sales and then drop the price. How do you release it at $20 and say, look, this is what it's going to cost? And tell everybody, like, this is what it costs. This is the only way you're going to acquire it. It's worth your while. You got to buy it. The other thing is, how do you make this? Okay, so companies can take advantage of the phenomena that is new release. Every week, there are new releases in all media, games included, and games especially, because this is something now you get to do. You don't have to wait. There should be a sense of urgency and a sense of, I can't wait to jump in. I can't wait until it's my turn. I can't wait till I get to play. And everybody else is playing, and I want to be a part of it too. It's not about I don't want to miss out. It's about I want to take part and I want to have fun, right? The fun of my own game. FOMOG, right? I remember that with Red Dead Redemption 2, where it's like, dude, the whole world is about to discover what Red Dead Redemption 2 is. I'm going to GameStop and I'm buying a physical copy of this shit, and I'm going home and I'm plugging in and I'm installing it, and then I'm going about my day so it's fucking ready to go, right? Street Fighter 6 more recently created that sense, I feel, where Street Fighter 6 was like, there's people competing in tournaments, there's people grinding in ranked, there's people streaming online, there's people that are in training mode, coming up with combos, learning characters, there's people who are playing World Tour, and it was like, any way you want to participate, you got to be involved in Street Fighter 6. And it went 1 million, 3 million, 4.5 to 5 million players. Because it was like, this is a cultural phenomenon. There's something going on. There's activity that's going on in real life, yet inside this software, inside this game. It's this pulsing, living, breathing experience that you all want to be a part of. And I got to admit, even Bloom Rage had that element when it released. People were excited about it. Life is Strange has like 20 million players. That's almost as well as Fall Guys. So when Bloom Rage came out, I mean, was it limited to PlayStation games catalog? Maybe it was on Game Pass, or maybe it was on other consoles. It just released on the games catalog for PS, and that was a way you could get access to it, in addition to buying it elsewhere. I don't know. I don't know if it was exclusive to PlayStation or not. But when Bloom Rage came out, for 2 weeks, people were discussing it. And it's just unfortunate that they had to chop the game in 2 parts, because that cut the player base in half. But, so what am I getting at here? I know that there are great indie titles that are not having the light shine on them. And I know that there are indie titles that are suffering sales-wise because they're released at an expensive $30, $40, $50 price, which just can't compete against. Like, people know they'll drop $60 on Oblivion Remaster. They will do that in a heartbeat. I wonder how many copies that sold that first day, that first weekend. I mean, a lot. And that appeals to both demographics. That appeals to people who are me, old enough to remember when the game came out, played it and loved it, and are looking for something to play and haven't connected with anything new and recent. So what do? We buy a remaster of our favorite game. And there are players who are young, don't remember it when it released, but they love that style of immersive sim. It's a legendary entry from a developer who's earned their loyalty, and they say, okay, I'll throw down $60 after playing like Skyrim. They grew up on Skyrim, and then they played Starfield, and now they're ready to jump in Oblivion Remaster. It's perfect. They're like, because it's going to run on my rig, it's going to have new graphics and quality of life enhancements, and I've never played it, but it's said to be one of the best. And it's like, okay, cool. So, and then you have an indie title where it's like, hey, this is a legitimate work of art, and we know a thing or two about game design. And it's like, yeah, but for $30, for $30, I could rent an infinite number of games for 2 months. And yours is going to be one of them eventually. What do you have to say about that? Because I'm the consumer and my dollar has to go as far as possible. And I don't really need a video game. I just like it from time to time. And you cannot ask me to spend more time when I spent... You can't ask me to spend more time. I don't want to spend more time. Like, I don't want to be here for a long time. I'm here for a good time. So if Jusant was like, hey man, it's $20, but it's never going on the games catalog. Eventually, it would be like, man, I've been thinking about it for a while. I've been wanting to play it for a while. I guess I'll just throw down the money and buy it because I'm in the mood for a casual platform style game, and it's like the time is right. But see, the time's right for me. The time is right for me, the consumer. The time's not right for you, the developer. You're getting laid off. How do you make the right time the day it gets released? How do you create urgency for me? You can plan out Okay, 2 months before this game comes out, there was nothing like it, and in the next 2 weeks, there's going to be nothing like it. So it's not going to overlap genre-wise or experience-wise. A soft casual game versus some high-intensity multiplayer game, or some killer, violent, dark action game, single-player game, versus some, epic adventurous story game. Like, this stuff's not going to overlap. It's not going to have to compete. Is there another big release that's going to pull attention from it? What else is coming out? A Mario. Okay, well, if it's a fucking Mario game, that'd be competitive. But if it's like, oh, there's another game on Switch, but it's Kirby's Air Ride. It's not fucking Mario. Bowser's Anima. It's not that. Or you go, what happened? Street Fighter 6 released the same time as Diablo 4, and Tekken 8 released the same time as Yakuza Like a Dragon. And it's like, aren't Yakuza? Isn't that Bandai Namco also? Or is that Sega? Sega. No, it's a little bit higher. It's like, Sega. I don't know. But it's sort of like the people who may have been sold on Tekken, like, oh, yeah, it's this, it's an adventure I can go on with whatever their arcade challenge is. And then they see Yakuza, like, oh, I'm playing Yakuza. It's like GTA, but it's an RPG, and I'm a Yakuza. So, I don't know. Like, because half of what if this channel is anything, this channel's a variety of things. It's a variety channel. It's a variety stream. And I play a variety of games. I play games that I would have played on my own without broadcasting them. I play single-player action games because that's what I was raised on, cut my teeth on. Sega Genesis, PlayStation 2, PC Gamer. I also play brand new release games that I get access to and I want to preview. First, Kazan, Diablo 4 even, and many others. And then I play very avant-garde, emo indie games, whether they're story games or whether they're unique concept gameplay games. And the reason why I do that, not just out of curiosity, is because that's what I did when I had PC Gamer and when I had Official PlayStation Magazine, and they came with demo discs. Because you would get Vex, a 6 out of 10 action platformer that was not very well reviewed, and you would go, well, why is it bad? Oh, I have a demo of it, let me play it. You would get Mr. Mosquito. I mean, the name says it all. You're a mosquito. What the hell kind of a game is that? Well, you have a demo of it, might as well play it. So you'd get the weirdest stuff, and you had time. And at that time, unless something good came out, you're not buying anything. It doesn't really matter. Your mom let you buy a game 2 months ago, and it was $20. She's pissed that you would expect to buy another game. So it was a miracle that you were allowed to subscribe to Official PlayStation Magazine. Because when that Metal Gear Solid 3 demo comes out, I don't care that Aunt Carol's coming to visit. I'm camouflaged. And I'm spinning around in circle to make myself throw up because I just consumed a steak that might be poisonous. And I'm on a tactical espionage mission. Okay? So you didn't get a lot of games. You had to make do. And so now with Steam Next Fest, indie devs, they're tricking you with the high production value, good animations, good graphics and programming. But all they're designing is point-and-click gameplay. All they're designing is gameplay. Press R1 to swing the sword. This is my game. Look, I made a mechanic. I designed a mechanic. It's like, well, you didn't design it. You programmed it. And, you got the asset from a library, the animation from a library, the control scheme from a library. Like, this is just Unreal Engine 5, the game. You didn't really make a game. You didn't design something unique. And it's like, I've played this game before. No, this is a brand new game. Okay, you're correct with that. But I've played this design before 15 years ago. Why would you expect somebody to spend $25 on your game design that's just a mechanic to press R1 to swing a sword? That game already exists. Like, I see a lot of these modern games, it's like I want to participate. Now the developers are like, I want to participate. I played Devil May Cry 3 15 years ago, 20 years ago, so now I want to make that. But they don't have a 4.5-year vision and 400 people in a studio. They just have their memory of playing Devil May Cry and having fun. So then they're like, well, I need to get the combat correct. And like, oh, Unreal 5 has a combat template, action combat template. Press R1 to swing the sword. Now I made a game. Okay. So, something like this from a real studio, where I'm going to come back to this and I'm going to play this more. I want to scale the whole fucking mountain. Just like I wanted to climb the tower in the center of Shadow of the Colossus, which I did. I want to play this. But I didn't want to buy it. And now the studio is getting downsized. So who's right and who's wrong here? I know it's a good game. I would give this a 9 out of 10. I would. Everything about this is polished, extremely polished. It doesn't matter that it's unique. It matters that it's polished and that it's done correctly. The vision they had for the experience the player would have playing. Not Phil Spencer with his Ozempic face talking to me about a cutscene. The game. When I press the analog stick and he moves. That's the experience. Interacting with the software and operating the software is the experience. Thinking about the scenario, thinking about what I want the avatar to do, and then commanding him to do it. That's the experience. And this game pulls it off. So where are the customers? Because if I were in the studio, there's nothing I need to say to an animator getting the control scheme right. And there's nothing I need to say to a concept artist getting the color palette on the grass correct. They know how to do that. But who are we cold calling? Who are we cold calling and saying, I know it's $30, but I'll tell you what, you could save $20 not buying the 7th Yakuza game? You know? The 7th Assassin's Creed. You don't hear about Assassin's Creed Shadows that much anymore. Now, I hope that game sold. I hope every game sells. I hope every game sells and wins. But that's not what happens. Really bad games make a lot of money. And some really good games are now failing. So, something's got to twist and shift. And I don't really know how to help, other than previewing this shit and giving my opinion. I know a 9 out of 10 game. I've been playing them for 30 years. And this is one of them. Jusant. Go buy it. You know? Buy a dev a farewell dinner.